Hello, this is Silverblade. Just running my first, well, not my first episode, but first actual episode of something useful. 7 Days to Die. In this episode, I'm planning on doing a little bit of mining, because one of the resources I really need is scrap iron, or to be more accurate, forged iron, so I can make reinforced concrete with rebars. So to start off, I'm gonna get at least one thing of wood frames, because they tend to be quite handy. I already did just a little bit of mining, and so far I got, coal ore, iron ore, 1 block of potassium nitrate, which is never going to be enough, some gravel and some stone. Got my pickaxe there, and we'll go over to where we're going to do some mining. This is one of the tedious things about the game, especially since they made some of the resources in some spots a bit harder to find than others. But I found a small cluster of veins in here, and give it a whack and see what we dig up, huh? Now, this spot here, this kind of grayish, bluish color, I believe that's lead, and not only can you tell it by the look, but by the sound. So let's give this a whack. And what do you know? Lead ore. So over here, you got rock here. This is all stone. And this here, it's more white. It looks like bigger chunks. I believe this to be potassium nitrate. It also has a bit of a metallic sound when you whack it, so let's give it a shot. Oh, well, it's got the texture for potassium nitrate. And it's just stone, so maybe I was just hitting a different section of it. Let's see. There we go, potassium nitrate. So this here, this is what kind of confuses me, because it's black with little bits of white on it, and I kind of assume that's iron. Usually if it's all dark, it's coal, but the only true way to know is by the sound it makes when you hit it. And that, I'm sure, is, ta-da, oh, it's lead. Confusing, because I could have swore that would be iron. Alright, now one thing about mining is if you see this kind of brownish patch here and a bunch of rock, that's gravel. And wherever there's gravel, more often than not, there's ore. More often than not, well, it seems like you got not. Hopefully they'll fix this in Alpha 12. But, yeah. Alright, let's see if we get some iron. Oh, that's gotta be coal. Potassium nitrate. Okay, everything I basically said has been a lie. 7 Days to Die. Fun pimps, why are you making me into a liar? That's gotta be iron. And it's gotta not be. Okay. How do you know? Iron ore. Alright. Now I could have went at this with my auger and burned up some fuel, but I'm kind of doing this by hand because, in my opinion, the auger can get a little out of hand. And as you can see, I'm kind of digging my own grave here. I don't need a cave in. As you can see from my score here, I've been going 19 days. I haven't died once. I've engaged in combat and slaughtered 640 zombies. So, my not croaking streak is pretty good so far. The last thing I need is to die because a bunch of rocks fall on my head. And turn on the mining helmet. Now this looks, and that's potassium nitrate, but this here has to be lead. And for once I'm right. Yay. That's got to be coal. Yep. And this has got to be potassium nitrate. And that don't sound like potassium nitrate. And more coal. I can dig it. Pun intended, I guess. So, alright. One of the things we're going to have to concern ourselves with is how the hell to get out of here. Now, one way of doing it is kind of carving an upslope. A little goat path to climb up. And even this can be a bit of a pain if not done right. And hop, and a skip, and a jump, and just trim this off. And take this off here. And it should mean we're free. Okay. Now, there's a reason why I put these wood frames in my inventory. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary to create kind of like scaffolding. And I increased health and stamina again. Sweet. 146. But yeah, sometimes you need the wood frames to kind of make a scaffolding that you can jump on and kind of hop your way out. This is beneficial if you don't really have a lot of stamina, don't have coffee to boost your stamina up, or you're really getting in an awkward spot, which really you should kind of have some forethought and not get yourself stuck. But as I understand on random generated maps, and mind you, I'm in the regular game of Nomasgain on here, and the random maps, they'll have these deep holes for caves, and sometimes they could go down quite a ways, and you're really itching to get down to the bottom, but getting out might be difficult. So in that case, it's probably beneficial to carry some wood frames with you. You can, like I said, you can use them to hop up and get out. What I do plan on doing in this area here is, of course, as I mentioned in my previous video, this hill is going to be leveled. And I imagine that at some point I'm going to cross some veins of ores, whether it's metals or potassium nitrate. There's a fairly good chance I'm going to come across some ores, and I'll end up strip mining this whole thing. I'll have probably more stone than I'll ever need, but and very little resources, other resources that come out of it. But the hill has to go. I want to be able to see as much as I can, at least, from my base to the church. And again, it's for line of sight and frame rate issues, but and also just gathering up as much resources as I can. So if I see open veins of ores, I'm going to snag it. Now there's other ways of getting specifically iron ore and coal. And I'll show you how to get coal. First, you have to go to the burning biome, and it's my least favorite biome to travel in, because if you're not careful, you can burn your tootsies off and set yourself on fire, which is not good for your health and overall well-being. But there is a bit of a benefit to it. And we'll switch over to the fire axe. And right here we have an example. Right here we got This looks like a campfire, but I guess the lore of this area is a wildfire took it all out. But I'm not 100% sure. But in any case, we got this pile of glowing embers here. So if we hit it, now we got 3 lumps of coal. If you look in the inventory, you got coal ore, which if you refine it, becomes lumps of coal. In this case, 8 becomes 40. So that's a pretty good trade-off. But right here, you just outright get lumps of coal. So all of these burning piles here, that if you step on, you run the risk of catching on fire. If you're not hitting ground. Where are you, hitbox? There we go. And lump of coal. Okay. So there's 1 lump of coal from those. Like these here, these bigger piles, I think these give 2 or 3. Wow, I'm wrong again. Just cannot predict this game worth the damn right now. There you go, 3 lumps of coal. And I didn't see which that one was, but chances are it's just 1. But anyway, you get the idea. You go through here and you can get lumps of coal, which of course is quite essential for making munition, for making gunpowder. And so there's that. Now to get... I really hate the sound effects in this biome. The whining baby most of all. Anyway, the next resource that we can get fairly easily off the surface without having to guess and hunt and pick and whatnot would be scrap iron. Excuse me. Now the best place to get that is in the wasteland, which is my second least favorite biome. Primarily because the zombies there tend to be more pissy. You know, you got the police officer zombies, which will puke all over you. And that's like almost every other block has a dog. So you kind of have to deal with all that. But anywho, run around here. I usually strafe around the ember pile so I don't get burnt. So if it looks like I'm gonna get all crazy, there's method to the madness, somewhat. It's also, for me, it's a bit difficult to talk and play at the same time, so bear with me. Now, earlier I've already come through here and cleaned this area up a little bit. So it's a bit sparse in this area. But yeah, well, right here we have a scrap iron pile. Whack it with a pickaxe, and you get that. Now, one's metal scrap pile, or scrap metal pile, if you convert it to raw scrap metal, 1 makes 2. So if you get a full stack of 64, that's 128 scrap iron. Now, right offhand, I don't remember how many ingots of iron a full stack of scrap iron makes. But if you want to get scrap iron, this is it's kind of an easier way of going about it. I mean, you don't have to dig through, meters and meters of stone to maybe find an iron ore vein. Another thing you can do, and mind you, if you're digging stone or digging metal, chopping metal, the pickaxe is the way to go. So you can whack away at these rusted out car bodies and get 1 or 2 scrap irons from each part of that. And there's probably about, what, 6 or 8 segments to this that you can get raw scrap iron from. But personally, I'd rather go to these, because you get 2 scrap iron when they break down, with 1 whack of the pickaxe. Yeah, let's see if we can do a headshot. Hello, sniper rifle. Hello, pretty lady. And blow. That had to hurt. Now, when you're taking on zombies, and you notice there's no other zombies around. There's no horde around right now. Just this one. You take your shot, you kill it, and for me, I always reload when there's not really anyone else to shoot. It really sucks when later on you do get in a horde of zombies and you only have 1 round in the magazine. And then you have to reload. And for my computer, because it's slower, there's at least 2 or 3 seconds between hitting the reload button or just having it automatically reload and it actually is reloaded. So that's 2 or 3 seconds where I could be getting chewed on, and I'm not a fan of that. So always, always, always make sure you have a full magazine. Maybe it's my OCD that kicks in on that, I don't know. But it's saved my butt a few times in a few situations, so you know, keep that R button pretty close at hand. Now, another nice thing about these is if you have a flawless pickaxe, a full stack of stamina, 1 whack, boom, and you got it. So you can move around a bit more, get more scrap iron. You don't really go through the stamina too fast, because, you know, they're spread out enough where by the time you go from this one to, say, like, this one over here, it gives you a little buffer time for the stamina to pick back up. Especially so if you have the coffee going, because as you can see, well, might as well drink it. And I'll show you what the recharge rate is on the stamina. It's got a nice rush of energy, and you get 2 stamina every 1 second, and it lasts for 180 seconds. So, you know, it keeps your energy up, makes it so it goes a lot faster. Now, one thing I hate about these scrap iron stacks, especially in this biome, is the hitboxes can be a little wiggy. Right now, things are going fine, and I don't know how it exactly works. Sometimes it looks like you're hitting a scrap iron pile dead on, and instead it hits the ground below, and then 1 shot, oh, here we go, 1 or 2 shots, and you dig a hole. And it's like, well, I didn't want a hole, I wanted scrap iron, like that. And you dig a hole underneath the scrap iron, and it falls through, and it destroys the scrap iron, it's gone. That sucks. I really hope this is one of the minor issues that gets resolved either in an update for Alpha 11 or possibly even in Alpha 12. So who knows? Just a small peeve of mine anyway. And I'm down to 4 frames a second, which you can see it's pretty choppy. I have to deal with this all the time, so. And, ooh, missed that one. There we go. Let's see, move out of here, maybe pick up a little bit. That's a little better. So, this is a pretty good place to get your scrap iron if you're needing like rebar or what have you. Now, these concrete blocks or cinder blocks, really don't do much on their own. You break them down, you get gravel. Gravel plus stone. If you burn them up in the forge for cement, you get your mix for concrete. So if you're looking for gravel, again, you don't want to dig for it. There you go. And they're really, really plentiful here in the wasteland as well as in the burning biome. Now here you got these boulders. These things are everywhere. And because I got the awesome pickaxe of destiny, one whack breaks it up, and they break up 3 times. And you get 2 items from it. You get small stone, which if you combine 4 of them, let's see, do it like this, this, and this. You can make gravel that way. But yeah. And then here you get iron fragments. Basically, you look at the number and cut it in half. So if you got 2, again 2. Maybe I can count next time. 2 iron fragments will equal 1 scrap iron. So you're not gonna get a lot out of these, but if you're in a pinch, you don't want to go through the rigmarole of hunting down a vein. These are pretty plentiful and in pretty much every biome. At least I believe they're in every biome. And there's jack squat in those, so that's actually the first time I hit those. So you get the idea. It's surface mining or scrap mining, because you're just picking up whatever scraps are laying around, whether it's the scrap piles, the cinder blocks, or the charred embers. They can advance you a little bit if you don't want to hunt down your ore veins and stuff like that. Now I wish there's an alternative for potassium nitrate, which in my book is like a precious commodity. You can't make gunpowder if you don't have potassium nitrate. So you do have to hunt around and dig for those. But for everything else, there currently is a surface alternative. Now, I don't know what the developers have planned, but I know that, at least in history, real history, bird droppings were used in the early making of gunpowder for potassium nitrate, which essentially is just fertilizer. I don't know if they can use bird nests, in future versions to make like a surface drop for potassium nitrate. I don't really know what has planned with that. I haven't really done too much looking into the forums on that stuff. But who knows? I mean, they got just about everything else that you can dig for up here on the surface. So we're going to go back to the church and break this stuff down, kind of see what the numbers are for scrap iron in the forge to see how many blocks of forged iron or iron ingots it makes. So we are here. Always close the door behind you because you're not heating the outside. So first thing, we will take all of the iron fragments. 14 makes 7. Then we'll take the iron ore. 7 of those makes 84 scrap iron. So I'm liking that. So that's you get a lot more for each block or each amount. So yeah, you definitely want to go for the iron ore if you can find it. It's just harder to find. So next we got 27 scrap metal piles, and they make 54 scrap iron. So in total, we got 64, 128, 128, and 19. So we just check. Oh, let me open up the forge. Now, I don't use the wooden chests to store scrap iron, brass, lead ore, or lead scraps, whatever. I just throw all of it into the forge. Now, I'm not always burning it up. I'm not always smelting it down. It's just a very large stored capacity container that I can make use of to get rid of it. I can cram a lot in just one square. It just doesn't make any sense, at least to me, to create a chest for it. But I do use the chest for the ingots. If I break an ingot down to metal strips or the forged iron bars or the iron pipes, I'll put them up in there for temporary storage. But you get the idea. So anyway, got 147 scrap iron. It's going to take 9 minutes and 48 seconds to smelt down. So we'll put in 1, 2, 3, 4 logs, and it should fire right up. It does tend to get a little slow on my computer, and I don't know if there's a glitch, because I had a glitch with the cooking fire. There we go. But the glitch I had with the cooking fire is I put logs in and put the ingredients in. Everything was the right way it should be, but it never started cooking. It didn't even start burning the wood. So I had to chop up the cooking fire, put down a new one, and after that it worked. So I don't know what kind of glitch it was, but I fixed it with judicial use of axe. So while that's cooking away, let's see, what do we got here? Coal ore, break that down. 8 comes 40. So now we got 50 lumps of coal. 5 potassium nitrate becomes 25. So I believe these are in multiples of 5 for that. So if I remember right, it's this and this on top. Whoop, wrong one. No, it's the other way around. Read the herp-a-derp. Okay, so coal on top, potassium nitrate in the bottom. Craft it in 250 gunpowder. For 9mm rounds, that's 250 rounds. For my sniper rifle with a 7.62 rounds, just divide that by 3. So let's make some bullets. So bring that down. Put some bullet casings, some bullet tips, and let's see. Let's see. We can make 321 of those, or 107 of those. And the health and stamina is up again, 147. That's always good news. So, I think what I'll do is I'll make half of those. Let's see, I got 344 of those. Yeah, we'll just go around for, roughly 400 rounds of 7.62. And it takes a second, and there we go. As for 9mm rounds, oops. We shall go with, yeah. My OCD's kicking in. We'll just go with an even 500, so we'll make 99 of those. Takes a second, and poof, there we go. Now, from what I've heard from other gamers, and I believe this to be true, is that that lag, when it comes to producing a lot of stuff, say over one stack of stuff, is every time you craft something, you get 1 point of experience. So, for making 99 9mm rounds, it takes a second to not only produce the bullet, but also to credit you with 99 experience. I don't know why it has to lag like it does, but it's not just my computer. It does it to people who have way better computers than I do. So, yeah. And excuse my really crappy accent, but yeah, I had fun with it. So anyways, back to this. Now, sometimes you'll have split stacks of stuff, and if you're like me and you want nice even stacks that are all nice and pretty, rounded off to the perfect number, etc. Here's a trick. You take half of that stack, like in this case there's 98 bullet casings, and over here I have 419. Now I want to make this nice even 500. So you just hold down the shift key and you click on it, and that should have... Huh. Okay, yeah, it did. It was a graphical glitch. But yeah, you do the shift key, and when you click from here to here, or here to here, it doesn't go backwards. It doesn't go upwards. So to go from here to here, shift it, and it makes a perfect pile of 500, which is the max for that stack. The excess just goes into another stack. So let's do this again. We got 388 here, 287 here. You go to combine them, it ain't gonna do it. So you take one stack, you put it up here, hold down shift, click on that, boom, 500 here, and the difference goes there. So that will help a little bit when it comes to compressing your stacks together, so you're not having to do this number. Right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click. That gets old quick. And if you have a wireless mouse like I do that requires batteries, it might run your battery down, you know, if you do it for hours on end. So, friendly little tip there, shortcut, what have you. So anyway, let's get rid of the rest of this stuff. So we got some lead ore here. And in my inventory, I'm going to convert this down to scrap lead. So 8 becomes 128. Now, I already got a bunch of lead scraps up in here. I don't really make lead all that much, because a little goes a long way. I mean, for instance, you know, I got 20 lead ingots, and that right there can make a lot of bullet tips. And as you saw in my other box here, no, that wasn't the one. It's over here. Yeah, that's it. I've got more than plenty of bullet tips, and I have a respectable stack of buckshot. I'll make shotgun shells some other time, which of course requires gunpowder, buckshot, and paper. So there's actually a purpose to having paper in the game. But yeah, so there's that. But I don't really need all that much lead, so I just store it all in here. And the same goes for brass. The only thing you really need brass for is the bullet casings. I don't know of any other object that requires brass ingots, so I just store it in here in case I do. And since this is like a bottomless pit of brass, there you go. So we will take the excess lump of coal and store that there. This here's more or less for gravel, stone, and small stones. And that's the sound of the supply drop. So let me convert these cinder blocks down to gravel. Put the gravel away. We put the excess wood in here. I have one jar, and it's just gonna fill up space. So we'll put that in its appropriate box. Now, at noon, I have it set in this game so that it gives me an airdrop every day. And every day it drops a supply crate at noon at some seemingly random location on the map. Usually relatively close. I would say within 1,000 meters of you, plus or minus. So every noon in my game, it drops it, but there's a glitch to the game. It doesn't show the half-drunk pilot flying overhead to where he's dropping it. So you don't really know. You only hear him, but you don't ever really know. So this is kind of a cheat, but I would kind of put it in the category of a creative story license. So basically, my reasoning is you have a radio, and every day this wackadoo pilot wires you, or sends a message through the radio of the coordinates to his supply drop. Until they fix the game to where you can actually see the airplane, that's my story, and I'm going with it. So to find the coordinates, you would hit the tilde key, which on most keyboards is above the tab and next to the 1. And you look right here where it says spawn supply crate. Now, these numbers are kind of backwards. Alright, so the first number you want to look at is the last number, which in my case, and I'm writing this down, is negative 186. The second number you want is the first number, so in this case it's 865. Now these numbers are significant because the first number, which was negative 186, that, if I remember right, is your north-south coordinate. So positive number would be north, and watch down here where the arrow pointer is. North is up here, and south is down here. So the first number is 186, which is, let's see, right along this line here. Now the next number is positive 865. So west is over on this side, east is over here. So 865 is way out here. This is going to be a bit of a walk. Or run. Or gallop. Either way, it makes me really hope that they get that moped thing in Alpha 12 going. Because it is a long walk. So, we got the east coordinate. Now we need the 186, so got to scooch up. Now, because the fine tuning on my mouse is a bit weird, because the frame rates make it jerky, I use my touchpad on my laptop and very, very gingerly move it up a hair at a time. I have to do this with a sniper rifle, so you can imagine I like to be in a towered position with defenses, so I can do these hair-thin little twitches to get the perfect headshot. I can do it sometimes with the mouse, but it depends on if the frame rates are down to like 4 or if they're up to 11. So right there is where the airdrop drop supply crate. Now, I don't know exactly how long this episode is run, but I'll probably get the supply crate off camera. But anyway, now you know how to do some surface mining, how to do some mining of veins, how to process it, um, a trick or two about how to make optimal use of space in your inventory. As you can see, all that, I think it was 100 and some odd scrap iron made, 25 iron ingots. So, yeah, you got to make quite a bit, get a lot of scrap iron to make a significant amount of iron ingots. But anyways, yeah, you get a little bit of taste of some surface mining, some vein mining, resource management. You know how to fill up stacks, how to find the supply drop when you hear the airplane. I can't think of anything else to help out, but I would like to take this time out to mention people have kind of inspired me to do this. There's Midnight Designer, who he was essentially the first game player videos that I had seen on YouTube relating to 7 Days to Die. And so, like, the ideas for the base out in the lake there, a lot of that's inspired by Midnight Designer. There's Rongo the Bold. Uh, him and Midnight Designer play on the Broken Ankle server, as well as Games for Kicks. Zeo Kills Zombies, I think is his name. Aindom, I'm not sure if I even pronounced that right. Those guys, they play on the Broken Ankle server. They have their own channels, as well as a team channel. They're the ones that inspired me, give me ideas. Some of their ideas I've taken and enhanced, add my own flavor to. And I'll show those in more details in the future. But I would encourage you guys to go to their channels. I'll try to link them in the description below. They're really good guys. I think that they're a lot of fun to watch, I'm sure, as well as to play with. Good-natured guys, full of useful information. And this is kind of my little shout-out, hat tip. Sign of respect to them for inspiring me to do this. So go ahead, check them out. If you have anything you'd like to comment about, please leave it in the section below. Like, dislike, whatever floats your boat. Constructive criticism, gladly take it. Destructive criticism, send it to someone else's channel. I don't really think I'll be deleting negative comments, but honestly, I'd rather not have overly negative comments, because I want to be encouraging of others to kind of do the same thing, because others have done the same for me. So anyway, this is the end of the episode of my first official instructional, if it's been instructional, video. I hope you guys have liked it. Hope you guys learned something from it. It's been fun, and I shall see you next time. До свидания.